Mastermind family, welcome back to the show. I am your host JoJo, and today is Artist Motivation, where we bring you motivation from different artists and comic book writers, webtoon creators, manga creators, and we just want them to shed some light and provide you some motivation and tips so that you can get your journey started as an artist. And so before we get the show started for the day, we have to do the sound call for the day, right? Mastermind family in the building. And so today's special guest we have is Evan Adams. Evan, go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the people what you do and what you're about.
All right. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Evan, and I draw comics and manga. My main style is more to the seinen stuff, more realistic looking things and dark things. But yeah, that's what I do. I just make comics. I make music, art.
Dang.
All that good stuff.
Dang. Okay. You make music too? Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. So which one would you say is your stronger suit?
Definitely, I'm focusing on my art side of things, like the comics. But music is a fun kind of side thing for me. It's more like a hobby, I'd say.
Okay. That makes sense. So
yeah.
I guess, how did you get started on your comic book journey, manga journey?
Well, a while ago, I was probably, I'd say 12 or 13, around that age, and I found Mushishi, which is kind of it's not a very popular series, but it's really good. I definitely recommend it, but I saw the anime for it, and that kind of just got me into more stuff. I started getting into Soul Eater and Death Note and all that kind of stuff. And I figured if I really like this style so much, why not try and get my hand at drawing it and stuff like that. So I just started watching YouTube tutorials and all that good stuff, and slowly but surely just kind of got better. And I was like, oh well, why not try to make this a full-time thing? I want to do this for a living. So yeah,
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So okay, so have you seen or read Berserk?
Yeah, I love Berserk. It's
great.
Man,
that's I would say, to me, I saw Dragon Ball first, but when I saw Berserk, I was like, whoa, this is the best series I've seen.
Some crazy shit.
And it is dark, and I'm like, man, I was like, but this is so good though.
And in the manga, his art style is just so detailed, and I'm just a huge detail fiend, so that, I don't know, the art style is just amazing.
Yes, and at the same time, I'm like, dude, you need to hurry up.
Yeah, he's still not done. So.
No, it's still going. I'm like, dude, I've waited 10 years, and I'm like, dude, you need to hurry up. So that's too funny. So would you say a lot of your style was kind of inspired from those series and Berserk, or what really I guess got you?
Probably one of my biggest inspirations is Takashi Obata. I'm sure we're all familiar with him. Bakuman, Death Note.
Yep.
Platinum End is his more recent one, which I've been really enjoying lately. But just his whole way of drawing things, it was almost just really clean, but still super detailed at the same time. And just the composition of his pages is just really impressive. So I wanted to make stuff like that. That was one of my main goals when I first started drawing, is I wanted to get details like that.
That's pretty impressive, man. I guess using that and kind of starting your journey, did you ever feel you were never gonna get there, or how did you kind of build yourself up to where you're not comparing yourself to your inspiration?
Yeah, well, I think it's one of the interesting thing is by the time I started actually getting my art style to a level where I was more I wasn't unhappy with it anymore, and I actually didn't have any friends or artists to really compare myself to, so it was kind of just in my own little world. And then I started meeting other artists, and that kind of thing came on later. And I feel like a big problem new artists have is constantly comparing themselves to other people around them, or thinking to themselves like, oh, I'm never going to get at this level. It's going to take too long. And the main word of advice I'd have to give them is just, you know, be patient, like, because it's not all going to come overnight. You know, you can't just, you're not going to, even if you do work on a series and you get it all done, it's not going to get popular like that night. And if it doesn't, you know, you shouldn't beat yourself up about it, because it's, you know, it's just not how it usually works. You usually got to take a long time to put into there, and then you're going to get your results after that. It's just, you know, you got to be patient with it.
Man, that is so true, right? Because like, what's the expectation like in our head is like, all right, got everything created, it's done, drawn, I even printed it out, you know. Yeah. Now I'm ready for my millions. And I'm like, look, you gotta, you know, slow down, you know, you gotta market it, you know, you gotta be patient. This is a long game. And it's just, it doesn't happen overnight, like you're saying. You gotta go to conventions, you gotta, you know, I mean, just there's different creative things that you gotta do to like get your work out there, because it may be the greatest series in the world, but if no one has heard of it, then what are you gonna do?
Yep, it's the what do you call it? The perfect example of lazy talent, where you have what it takes, but you're not gonna go and try and throw it out there and push it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you gotta be a pusher of your own work. I mean, no one's gonna push it for you.
Yeah.
So I actually like that. That's very good that you say that, man. And I guess in your perspective, like, what are you trying to say with your comic, with your manga, with your artwork? What are you trying to, you know, say? What are you trying to communicate to the people?
Well, let's see. Like, my main motivation behind it is, well, I wanted to make stories like, I don't know, whenever I find a really good story, it's like I can't put it down. Like when I first read Death Note, or, you know, just a classic really good example like that, I sat there and I just read through almost the entire thing in one sitting. Like I just wanted to see what was on the next page. And that's something like I really enjoy, like that I need to finish this book. So I wanted to make a story that would like draw somebody in enough to where like they can look forward to it every week, because that's like the platform I want to do is webcomics. So I want people to be tricked by the story, and I want them to also be drawn in, like, yeah, that kind of thing. Like, I don't know, I love tricking readers, but yeah, like let's see, if I wanted to like have an ideal writing style, let's see, I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. One moment. Like, you want to feed the reader some stuff, like you want to spoon feed them on some parts, and then you want to trick them and then have them like be like, oh, okay, I see how it is. Kind of like it's kind of like playing cat and mouse with them. Like, you want to let them know certain things and then keep them out on it, and then it all comes together and they can kind of understand that way. It's almost like a reward when the reader figures out what you're trying to say before you say it.
Yeah, and that's a really, really good story.
Yeah,
because like,
and like I just saw that in Death Note and really, really liked it. Like, I love that kind of writing.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure that this is what's happening, you know. And I'm not gonna spoil Death Note for anyone who hasn't seen it. Just go watch it or read it. So, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just I would agree with you. Like, you know, playing the whole cat and mouse with the reader, you know, pulls them in and keeps them sucked in. Because I know I watched the whole thing of Death Note, you know, or read it.
Yeah.
What did you think about the movie?
The Death Note. Yeah. I didn't like it. It didn't really tie into the original story, and it was, I don't know, they made Light seem like he was just some kind of hot-headed teenager, even though in the story he was hot-headed, but he was really smart about how he did things.
Correct. show, I was just like, they done it again. You know, they just don't make any.
One movie that I really enjoyed for like how they did the writing in it was Deadpool, and how they kind of did it in weird sequences. Like they would show almost like they would show a future scene and then you show how it got there, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yep.
Like it was really clever how they did Deadpool. I really enjoyed that one for sure. Same
here. I would agree with you on that.
Yeah.
What about Full Metal Alchemist? You seen that one?
Actually, that's one thing my friends are they're always killing me about because I've never really gotten into Full Metal Alchemist.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know if it wasn't really like, not a lot of my friends really were into that show or that kind of stuff when I started getting to it. So I don't know if I just wasn't in the right time period for that, but you know, I just never really bothered getting into it, to be honest. Like I really should take some time and like watch it fully.
Hey man, I would say if you got time to spare, you know, just watch it here and there, man. It's actually really good. But you know, that's neither here nor there. But like, okay, so I guess what would you say is like your favorite? Like, if you had to pick one, your favorite anime and your favorite manga, what would it be?
My favorite. Okay, so my favorite manga of all time would probably be Goodnight Poon Poon by Inio Asano.
Okay. I've heard of it. I have not read it, but I've heard of it.
And my favorite anime would... Man, that's tough with anime. Like, let's see. I really liked Erased, except the ending was bad, so... I don't know, but I'd have to say either... Geez, that's a really hard question to choose, like, favorite anime.
Yeah. I'll let you ponder that, and I'm gonna hit you with another one, man. But this is like really important. So, like, why did you even get started? Why did you even create your own? Why are you on this journey? Why?
Well, let's see. Well, I already knew I wanted to do something in art because I've always just been into art in general, but watching anime started to get me into drawing, and one of the biggest things that really wanted me to, like, that made me want this as a career was actually reading Bakuman, which kind of showed me inside look, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Like, I had no idea that's how they did things. Like, Bakuman kind of showed me that, and you know, kind of got me some of the information I needed to, like, you know, get into it more, I guess.
Right.
Like, I think that Bakuman is no surefire way to get into the industry, but it's definitely a good way to, you know, it hyped me up about it and made me really want to, like, you know, learn more about it. That's one of the main things it did. And then later on, after I was already drawing for a while, I actually submitted to Saturday M. It was a contest back in 2016, and I got second place in the contest. It was like a pilot manga thing or something.
What?
And yeah, and I thought to myself, like, when I was drawing the series, I thought it was going to be terrible. Like, I was reading it over and just thinking, like, oh, this is bad. Like, I'm not going to even place, and I'm just going to get destroyed. But then it got second, and of course I also got destroyed in some areas, which is, you know, just kind of comes with the whole package.
Yeah.
But I was honestly, like, kind of proud of it. Like, oh, this, you know, gave me some newfound confidence to keep on going and, like, try to, you know, work at that harder. Like, it showed me, oh, you can actually, like, you know, do something with this, you know?
Absolutely. That's pretty awesome that you got second place, man. You weren't even expecting that, you know?
Yeah, and I think, like, you know, people should, like, try to believe in themselves when it comes to stuff like that, because that like, crippling self-doubt can actually, like, cause you to stop drawing it before you even, like, know if you're gonna actually get it somewhere or not.
Ooh, you speaking some wisdom, man. It's so true, man. You gotta put yourself out there, man. And don't let the doubt and fear, like, you know, take you out before you even get started, right?
Because, you know, like, it's like, it goes like this, like, you know, we all have a comfort zone, and I feel like if you're not going to get out of it, then that, you know, you're not going to progress. Like, you have to find a new comfort zone before you can, you know, like, you got to get out of that other one. It's kind of like a constant cycle with art. Is you're always going to have a comfort zone, but there's always going to be that, you know, that level that you're going to be aiming for to try and get better.
Right.
And unless you're willing to, like, get out of that and do things that you're uncomfortable with, then, you know, that's never gonna be something that you are comfortable with. You gotta actually do things, because, let's see, how can I reword this in a simpler way? You gotta, being comfortable is a bad thing, because if you're always gonna, you know, you're not gonna improve by staying in that comfort. Whatever. I think I'm just repeating myself at this point.
Yeah, but you're never gonna grow if you stay in that, you know, that comfort spot, the sweet spot that you're normally familiar with, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And in order for you to grow, you got to stretch yourself, and you got to go to the land of unfamiliar, you know. And that is what is most scary to people, because it's unknown territory. They don't even know what's going to happen. They're like, well, what if I fail? What if this happens? Da da da. I'm like, man, just do it. Yeah. You don't know what's going to happen. You may surprise yourself what happens. So it's so true. And so, Evan, like, what's some of the things that, I guess, you know, I know you had to experience, like, failures along the way. So, like, how did you keep going, even experiencing failures, and, you know, not getting discouraged, and, you know, giving up on your dreams and things of that nature? Like,
well, when the first contest I ever entered was called, what do you call it, Silent Manga Edition. And I put it up there, and I didn't get any results, and I kind of got, like, it kind of made me upset, like, because that was, like, the first ever contest I entered. Like, I thought I had something, and I was almost a little too overconfident with it when I joined in. So, like, one of the first things you can do, I think, to avoid, like, that, you know, getting crushed by the failure is, like, don't get your hopes up in the first place. Like, if you enter a contest, just don't ingrain into your head, like, oh, this is gonna win first. Like, you should just put it in there and be like, all right, like, whatever happens, you know, whatever, even if whether I win or whether I lose this contest that I entered, at least I know that, you know, by making this project, by working on this, I've already improved, and I've already gained from doing it. So in the end, you know, it was still worth it to do that, right?
Right. You're not attached to the outcome, right?
Yeah. And as for just getting things done and having the motivation to, like, do that, and one of the things, I think a lot of people will go and, like, they'll spread the word and, like, about their project, and like, tell all these people about it, and it's like, you know, they'll have some of it done, but it's not done yet. And I think it's more productive to just do the project, finish it, like, get it done, and then tell people about it, because, you know, it shows that you have that ability to finish it already, so people aren't going to be waiting on you or anything, and you're not going to be stressed out by people waiting on you for it, because, you know, you already spread it around before it's out yet.
That's true, right?
So
it's very true. And it's like, almost like you're putting your foot in your mouth, and you haven't even, you know, gotten started, or it's not even completed. You're already telling everybody, like, hey, you know, I got this manga, you know, I have, like, 1 page, but check it out. And they're like, well, you know, do you have at least, like,
and when finding, like, that, when you're trying to do long projects too, I feel like one of the best things to do to get better at, like, really getting that stuff out in a timely manner is like trying to, you know, set out a time to draw every day, like turn it into a routine, because, you know, soon that routine will become a habit, and then you can, you know, it just comes naturally, like you just naturally are going to go and do it because you've been doing it, you know, for so long. So I feel like that's one of the main things that really helps me with just getting through long projects and keeping on, you know, keeping that workflow going.
That is very true, man. Like that's another golden nugget, man. Like you can't just, like, I was once told that, you know, hey Joe, you know, just, you know, draw a, you know, a squiggly line if it means like you're at least drawing something. Like it's better to move your hand and draw something than not to do anything at all. And it's true, because like you'll say, okay, you know, I'm really tired today, so I'll take a break today, and then like that can like set you back maybe like weeks of you like building up that habit of like drawing every day. And so it's just important to, like, you know, stay consistent at what you're wanting to do, and just, you know, continue to work on the craft, right?
Yeah. And part of that is, you know, as well as having that routine for, you know, working on it, I think it's really important to also have a routine of breaks, like, because if you don't give yourself like a chance to breathe in between all this, you know, you're gonna burn out at some point. So you have to make sure you're, you know, like allowing yourself time to rest as well, because otherwise you're not going to be on top of your A game. Like you're not going to be putting out the best work you could. True. If you're like too tired.
True. So what's your schedule like? How do you usually, you know, form up your schedule?
Well, right now, since I don't have anything like, what do you call it, ongoing, like on a site, usually I just go to work whenever I do, and then as soon as I get home from work, I usually do some drawing for like a few hours, and then right before bed, I like to brainstorm, almost like I keep a journal up in my bed because I come up with random ideas like at night actually, but that's kind of how my thing usually goes, just that. And in the mornings though is like I think a good time to like relax for me, at least. Like I can check my email, drink a cup of coffee, you know, maybe catch up with a few friends, that sort of thing. But
yeah.
That's kind of how I usually do it. But on like a deadline schedule though, I usually have a certain page quota for each day, or every week rather, and then I try to get a chapter out or an update out on like a certain day of the week.
Right. Oops. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, but that's basically the gist of mine. Pretty simple. One thing actually, before I really got my schedule thing set up, I looked up like what a Japanese like manga artist would normally do, and I don't know if you've seen their schedules, but they're pretty insane. Like they have each hour blocked out. Like, oh, this hour you're going to be sleeping, this hour you're going to be eating.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. I mean,
it's almost robotic. Yeah.
Well, it's because if they don't, then they're going to be behind.
Yeah, because their whole load, like how many pages they have to produce every week, is just, it's almost unhuman. It's crazy.
but they get it done, which is really cool, man.
Yeah.
So I guess, could you tell us what to expect, or what's coming up in the future pipeline for your works, or things of that nature? Like what's coming up in your pipeline?
Well, right now I'm actually I'm finishing the first chapter for it's a comic that I've been working on for a few months now, and the name isn't set in stone, but it might be called Ghostly. I'm thinking of that, but I don't know. Okay. That's still kind of in the air, but it's going to be published on Tapastic and Blind Webtoon, because I want them to be on more sites. But
yeah,
if I had to give you like a summary or a pitch or something, it would basically, a young boy in about probably middle school age hears of rumors of like ghosts or the school being haunted and that kind of thing, and his friends, they want to go see it, like see if it's actually real. So he ends up going, and there searches, like, you know, looks around the school, and he finds something. It's not a ghost, but it turns out there's actually like monsters like living there.
Oh shoot.
Like, it's not like a full society of monsters, but it's like, you know, there's a few, and it's almost like kind of like a world where that's just a thing where they're sprinkled around.
That's cool.
But most people don't know about them though. But that's the gist. If
Dang.
I had to give you know, this meets that, it would probably be have you ever seen The Girl on the Other Side or read that?
No, I'm not.
It'd be Mushishi meets Detective Conan. That's
Okay.
probably what it'd be, like the most
Close.
the gist of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Oh, you got something special then, dude.
Yeah. I think it's all right so far, but
Come on. You
shall
think it's
see.
all right? Come on.
We'll see what the people think.
When do you expect to like have that done, or at least something released?
I'm hoping to have the first chapter out by the end of this month.
Ooh.
And after that chapter gets released, I'm going to be doing weekly updates on it. Probably 4 to 5 page updates every week. That's basically my plan for the story.
Dang. Okay. That's
So,
pretty
yeah, but-
exciting. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. It's always good. It's always good to see somebody that, you know, has an idea, takes it from their head, puts it on paper, executes it, and then releases it, and then continues to work on it. Right? Continues to always work on it. So
Yeah.
that's really good.
Yeah.
Also, okay, so what are some words of wisdom you would like to kind of impart on the show, and just like for future artists and people who like don't know if they want to get started or not, or people who are started but in a rut? What are some words of wisdom you would impart them?
Some words of wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. I would tell them, like, there's no such thing as a waste of time if you're having fun doing whatever you're doing with that time. So, like, when you're drawing and all that, it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Like, it doesn't matter if it's like a masterpiece. All that matters is that, you know, you're putting the pencil to the paper, you're having fun, and, you know, you're practicing. Like, that's all I really have to say about that.
I dig it,
Like,
man.
just don't care if it's good or not. All you have to know is just know that you're gonna get better by doing it, you know?
I dig it. It's true, man. And you gotta have fun with it, because if you're not having fun,
If you're not having fun, then it is a waste of time.
right? That's it. Because you gotta at least enjoy it. I mean, geez. I mean, if you're gonna try to make this a career, you better enjoy it at least.
Yeah,
Sheesh.
for sure.
But that okay. So I got one more tough question for you, man.
All right.
And this is where I think a lot of artists struggle. How, like, if you do commissions, which you do commissions, right?
I do commissions from time to time.
How do you price it? How do you price your commissions?
Well, depending on how, I usually like price it how long it's going to take me to do it. Like, I wouldn't say I charge hourly, but I definitely charge more if it's going to take longer than another, like a smaller piece.
Mm-hmm.
I'd probably take into consideration, you know, what materials are going into it, like the cost of those materials that I'm putting into it. I'd also be considering how many characters are in each, you know, picture.
Yep.
And also probably if it's in color or not, because color drawings may take a little while longer for sure on that one.
Absolutely. And you don't have a problem letting people know up front, hey, this is what it is. Did you ever struggle with, like, you know, prices or anything like that, or no, that wasn't something that
I used to struggle with, like, thinking to myself my art wasn't worth the money that they'd be paying for it. Like, so I would underprice it drastically, like when I first started doing commissions. But I kind of slowly but surely, like, because I almost grew to hate commissions because I was like putting all this effort in, but I wasn't really getting that much, you know, return on it. So I was like, well, I should just, like, actually my old boss I used to work at this restaurant, and I was talking to him about it, and he gave me an idea of like charging hourly and like doing all this other stuff. And that's kind of what I was like, oh, you know, that's a really good idea. Like, commissions aren't that bad. Like, if you maybe I should be charging for all this other stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's your time, right? That's your effort, your energy, a little bit of your soul that you're putting into it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you better charge, you know, you got to know what you're worth, right?
Yeah, for sure. Like, you shouldn't underprice yourself with that. With art.
Exactly. So, Evan, we really do appreciate you taking the time to talk with our family and just sharing your perspective on your art journey and things of that nature, and just providing motivation to us. So, like, where can the people find more of your work, or just find you in general?
I'm most active on YouTube with like art stuff, but so you can just find me as Evan Adams on YouTube. But I post all of my comics to either Tapastic. Most of them are on Tapastic right now, but I also post to Line. Like, as I said, I'm going to be posting this next one to both. But yeah, Tapastic is definitely where all of my other works are at the moment, if anyone is interested.
Excellent. Evan, we really do appreciate you being on the show. Mastermind family, that is going to do it for the show. We hope you enjoyed the show with Evan Adams, you know, phenomenal artist doing major things. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Dude!